Hello and welcome to Math 112 online section IN1 for the fall 2021 semester at SWIC. My name is Jennifer Simonton and I will be your instructor for this course. The purpose of this introductory video is to help familiarize yourself with using MyMathLab and navigating Blackboard so you are capable of accessing all the necessary information and knowing exactly what you need to do to be successful this semester. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Blackboard and show you where to find all those important details. All right, so right now, this is when you log into Blackboard, you'll see a list of all of the courses for which you are enrolled. So ours is Math 112 IN1. So if you click on that, you will come to this screen. I'm going to switch this over to student view so you can kind of see exactly what you will be seeing. And we're going to start here with the syllabus. So that first page with the announcement was the email you got to access this video, or maybe you logged into Blackboard already and saw that. So if you click over here on the left on the syllabus tab, all right, then you're going to click on this file right here. Notice this is titled Syllabus, MyMathLab Information, and Assignment Calendar. All right, so this is going to go through all of the things that are important and explain the grading procedure, explain what the course is about, etc. All right, so the general information at the top just gives you some general information about the course. My name, it's worth 4 credit hours. Class location is internet, so we're going to do all of our work online. This is my office phone number. This is my office on the Belleville campus. It's in the main complex, room 2047, or I can always be reached via email. That's probably the easiest way to get in contact with me, especially for online students who may not necessarily be on campus very often, would be to contact me through email. My scheduled office hours for this semester are Mondays and Fridays from 11 to 11:50, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 1:50, and Wednesday from 9 to 9:50. I will be in my office if you're on campus and want to stop by at any of those times, or if it's easier, we can set up a Teams meeting to meet via Teams instead. All right, I just put in a little note here about communication. Email is the best way to reach me quickly. If you have a need to meet with me one-on-one outside of the office hours, we can certainly set that up. You'll just have to let me know. If you send me an email, I'll normally try to respond as soon as I can, definitely within 24 hours, although a lot of times it's much faster than that. And you should get in the habit of checking your SWIC email several times a week. Okay, this is my way of communicating with you, and I will every week, I will be sending out a weekly reminder of what you need to be doing. So that should be something that you are regularly looking at. Also, this statement right here, proctored testing is a requirement of this course, meaning you will need to plan to come to campus to take the required tests and the final exam. There's more information that we'll talk about that a little bit later on pages 3 and 4 of the syllabus. Okay, the remote testing is not an option. All right, you don't have to come on a specific day. You'll have kind of a window of time, but you need to make sure that you're planning to come to campus to take your exams. All right, so the course description, prerequisites, and objectives are things you can read on your own. They just kind of outline in detail all the different topics that we need to be covering. So let's go down here to this page where it talks about textbook and materials. All right, so you are required to sign up for MyMathLab. That will include all the necessary assignments and course materials, okay? There is an access code provided on this syllabus on page 7. Okay, you do not need to purchase an access code. All right, if you would like to have a physical textbook, okay, this is what textbook you should be purchasing. That is not a requirement. Okay, that is just if you want to have a book in hand rather than accessing it online. Your access to MyMathLab includes an ebook. Okay, so everything you need is included in that MyMathLab access code. But if you don't want the electronic version, this is the name of the textbook that we are using that you can purchase. You will also need to have a graphing calculator. I recommend a TI-84 graphing calculator. There are a few things that we're going to cover that will require you to have either the TI-84 or the TI-83, any version of either of those calculators. If you don't have a graphing calculator, there are a few things, not a lot, but there are a few sections that we will cover things that I will be expecting that you'll be using your calculator for. And if you do not have a graphing calculator, then you will be at a disadvantage when it comes to time, because that can really speed things up by doing those things on the calculator. Okay, and the videos that you're going to watch when I explain all of the, give you all of your lecture notes, will show you how to use those calculators. Okay. All right, all of our work for this course will be done in MyMathLab. All right, we'll talk about what that looks like here in a second. All tests, including the final, are given at a SWIC testing center. You can use either the Belleville Campus Testing Center, the Granite City Campus Testing Center, or the Redbud Campus Testing Center. That one has limited hours, but I do think they're open a little bit this semester. All other assignments, which are homework and test reviews, can be completed on your own. Okay, anytime on your own. You don't have to come to campus for that. So this is an online course. However, it's not self-paced. Okay, there will be due dates for certain things. You have to pay attention to that. There's a penalty if you don't complete homework by the given due date. You can still do it late, but you'll get deducted as far as your grade is concerned. However, tests must be completed by the due date without exception. All right, all that stuff is listed on the assignment calendar on the last page. Okay, so this is how you will be graded in terms of how things are weighted. Your homework overall is 10% of your grade, so 50 points altogether. Test reviews, you'll have a review assignment assigned before each test to help you prepare. Completing that review assignment is worth 5% of your grade, so there are 3 of them. They're worth 5 points each. And then there's 1 for the final exam, so it's worth 10 points each, or it is worth 10 points. So altogether, those total 25. So that's 5% overall. So each review for a regular chapter test is worth 5 points, and then the final exam review is worth 10. All right, we have 3 tests. That's 60% of your grade. Each test is worth 100 points, 300 points total. And then your final exam is worth 25% of your grade, which translates to 125 points. Okay. All right, so to navigate the course, you'll need to both be able to use Blackboard and MyMathLab. All right, so it says, before you begin the homework, please open, view, and take notes on the lecture videos posted in Blackboard under Course Content tab in the Lectures Video folder. Okay, this is extremely important step. Do not skip this. Okay, this is the equivalent of going to class. This is where you're going to get all the information you need to understand the content of the material. All right. So you have to find time to fit that into your schedule. Also, I have my lecture notes that have been written out, the ones that I talk about on the videos. Those are posted in the lecture notes folder. So if you don't want to write them out yourself, although I do think that's a good idea, a lot of times it's a way to help you learn things, to write things down, but I do have a copy of those posted in the course content. So let's real quick show you where that's at. So that means if you come over here, we're on the syllabus tab looking at that file right now. So over here we're going to go under course content. All right, the lecture notes are here and they're broken down by test. So for test number 1, these are the sections it covers, so all that material is in here. And then with each of those, you can click on a file and it would open up the lecture notes for section 1, 5, 2, 1, etc. All right, let's go back here. The other folder says lecture videos. Okay, they're also organized by test. So the videos for all the material that's covered on test 1 is in this folder. All right, so if you click on this video, it'll pop up a YouTube window for you to watch the video of me explaining the examples and the content that is contained in the notes for that section. In this first folder, there's a few sections that are divided into part 1 and part 2. So that section was a little bit longer. When I first started making these videos, I was limited to only 15 minutes of video, but after I got started, I think it starts fairly soon in the second folder when you get past this first chapter 2 stuff. They're not split up into 2 parts. I upgraded to a different screen recorder that allowed me to make longer videos. So I still think all the videos are within a half an hour or less for the most part, so they're not super long. But the ones that are part 1 and part 2 just means that it took more than 15 minutes to explain the material. Okay? All right. So first you go in here, like if you're going to work on section 1.5, you can print out or view the lecture notes, and then you're definitely going to want to watch the video. Okay, so that's under course content. Those are the 2 folders. All right, so let's go back here to the syllabus where we were. All right. So, all right. So that's what this first step explains. Okay, homework is assigned in MyMathLab. For every section of the textbook that we cover, homework is set up as a learning tool. You'll have unlimited attempts to get a problem correct, so you can click similar exercise and try it again as many times as you want. Pay attention to the due dates. Okay, we'll see that on the assignment calendar in a minute. And I'll pull up MyMathLab in a second and show you how all that is going to look. All right, the entire semester of homework is worth 50 points. Okay. All right, test reviews. There are 3. 1 for each of your chapter tests. Again, they're set up as a homework tool. However, in the chapter review assignment, you do not have access to a view an example option like you do in the regular homework, and you only get 4 attempts per question to get it right. You don't get unlimited. Each of those are worth 5 points. Again, they have due dates. Tests, they have 3 tests covering 2 to 3 chapters of material apiece. Each test is worth 100 points. Those are the ones you have to come to the testing center to take. You must make an appointment with the testing center before you'll be allowed to take a test, and you are required to have a photo ID. It does not have to be a SWIC ID. It can just be a regular driver's license, but it has to have your name and your photo on it. All right, when you arrive at the testing center, you'll log in, click on assignments, click on the test you're going to take, if it's test 1, whatever. Once you open it, you'll need to wait for a proctor at the testing center to put in the password. Okay, you got to tell them though you're going to be taking test 1, 2, or 3, so they know what the password should be. You'll get 75 minutes to complete it, so you're still doing it on the computer, so it'll be looking just like your homework problems and things, but you have to be at the testing center so you can be proctored. All right, once you're finished, you click submit. You will be allowed to use a calculator. You can use any scientific calculator or a graphing calculator, but it cannot have a CAS, which stands for Computer Algebra System. So the Inspire with CAS or the TI-89 or the Voyage, those calculators are not allowed. All right, and you are also not allowed to use your cell phone as a calculator. All right, final exam review, just like the other ones, only it's longer, so it's worth 10 points. And then the final exam itself, again, just like a long test. It'll cover everything you've learned. You'll have a more time, 2-hour time frame to complete it at the testing center, and it is worth 125 points. The last day of our semester when the final exams end is Thursday, December 16th, so it must be taken by then. All right, I do get partial credit on tests and final exams. I will go through and review all of your answers, and for notation errors or like if you type in the right answer but in the wrong form, things like that. I will not do that for homework because you can fix those yourselves with unlimited attempts and not be penalized, but on a test when you don't have that opportunity, I will do that for you. Also, if you would like to receive as much partial credit as possible for wrong answers, if you submit your scratch paper and if you've shown your work in an organized fashion, not just kind of scratch work all over the place, but written down, this is problem number 3, and we'll write it all out or whatever it is, where I can read it easily, I will grade that for extra partial credit if possible. All right, so you have to clearly label your problems and your steps, and I need to be able to follow your solving process. Okay, you just turn that in when you turn in your test, and they'll get it back to me. All right, makeup and late work. All assignments you are expected to be completed by their due date. Okay, that's on the course calendar that we're going to look at in a minute. For homework, okay, homework assignments, you are allowed to complete the assignment after the due date, but if you don't get it done by the due date, you are penalized 15% grade deduction. So for any problems on there that completed after the due date is passed, you're still allowed to do it, but your grade is deducted 15%. So the best you could, if you hadn't started a homework assignment before the due date and you did the whole thing after, the best you could do if you got them all right would be an 85%. But at least it's not a 0, okay? All right, if you miss a test, you must provide documentation that you have an excused absence, okay? Being on vacation or out of town, that is not an excused absence, right? You are responsible for initiating that process. I'm not going to track you down and say, hey, you missed test 1. You know, you have to let me know, recognize that you missed it, and we can talk about if a makeup is an option or not. All right, at the end of the semester, 1 missed test score can be replaced with your final exam. So if you miss 1, your final exam score can go in that place. Any additional missed tests, you get a 0. All right, attendance policy, which is basically this next statement here. Since we're an online class, we don't only have attendance, but you are going to be monitored on participation. All right, so for online or remote learning, you must demonstrate ongoing participation in your learning management system, which is Blackboard and or MyMathLab. And it means that you are in regular communication with me and you are meeting course assignment deadlines. If you are not active in the course for the first 10 days of the semester, or you do not communicate with me, meaning either sending me an email or turning in assignments for over a period of 7 consecutive days, you may be withdrawn. Right, so as long as you're doing the work, there's stuff due every single week. So if you're doing the work on time, then you're fine. Okay. Core competencies, these are just the college core competencies that this course addresses. Student learning outcomes is just talking about if we're involved in an assessment project, what that would mean. Closure statement, if we're closed for an emergency, you should check in on Blackboard to get any information. For an online class, it's not as big of a deal. The only issue would be like if we're closed on a day that a test was due or something, if they had to shut down for weather, then we would work around that. But I would just be checking Blackboard for announcements from me in that situation. If you have accommodations through disability and access, I just need to have your paperwork submitted. This is just the policy on cheating. Basically, if you're caught cheating, you just get a 0 on the assignment on the first offense, and the second offense, you're withdrawn from the course with an F. So, academic rigor, this is basically just saying that this course is a 4-credit-hour course, so that really technically means that you should be expected to be spending the 4 hours per week basically learning the material, and then another 8 hours per week outside of that, so 12 total, doing homework and other things. A lot of people, that number is an average. A lot of people will need less than that. A few might need more, but that is the expectation. 2 hours outside for every 1 hour inside. These are safety precautions due to the COVID pandemic that is still ongoing. So when you're on campus, you should be symptom-free. You will need to be wearing a mask while you're indoors, at least for now. And this is really, if you're, just doing things online, it would only apply if you are coming to campus for testing. Okay, so you can kind of read through all that. I believe there was some other information sent out through the institution to each student explaining how all that would work. And then additional information is stuff you can kind of read on your own. They're pretty self-explanatory. I do want to talk about course withdrawal real quick here before we go over to MyMathLab. Withdrawal from the course could impact your academic progress or financial obligations. Please consult with me before withdrawing from the course. I believe the last day to withdraw is November the 29th, so it's pretty late in the semester. I will not be assigning W's after that date. Okay, so if you are in a situation where you think you might need to withdraw, just reach out to me. I can let you know what your situation is and where you stand, and you can make that decision. But after November 29th, there will not be any withdrawals issued. All right, this next page is the instructions on how to get signed up in MyMathLab into my course to access all of your assignments. All right, so if you read through this, there's a website, it tells you where to click. You'll be asked for a course ID. That's when you put this in. Later, you'll be asked for an access code. That's where this goes, etc. Okay, so you should be able to follow the directions on this sheet. All right, once you do that, let me just show you here what you're going to see. All right, so I'm going to click on MyMathLab over here on the left, or there's the website you can just go directly to. You're going to go to sign in. Put in your username and password. And it'll show you your courses. Our course is Math 112 IN1, Fall 21. Click on that. And then usually what I do, there's multiple ways to get to your assignments, but I'll just come over here on this assignments tab and click there. And then you can see all the assignments that are listed right here, and they're all together. So there's 1, 5, 2, 1, etc. It gives you the due date over here. And we'll look at that calendar here in a minute. So there's all those assignments, then there's a review for test 1, and then this is test number 1. Right? And then it goes on and on and on. Okay, so let's just look at an example here. So if I was going to do the 1.5 homework and I clicked on it, then you'll see all of your questions here. So I can click on questions, and note here it's warning you that late submission is 15% deduction. All right, so I can click on a question. And it'll give me the problem. Okay, so solve the equation by factoring. The solution set is, and then it gives me a box. Pay attention to these directions underneath. Okay, it says use a comma to separate answers as needed. Type each solution only once. All right, so you will work out this problem, and if you're, you should have notes. You should have already watched your video, looked at your lecture notes, or taken your own lecture notes to have examples of how to do this problem. All right, if you need help, there's some help buttons down here. You can ask for help me solve this. So basically it'll walk you through this problem step by step, but then it won't give you credit for it. It'll give you a similar problem that you can do on your own for points. View an example. This is the one most people like the best. They'll click view an example so they can just see an example, follow it, and do this problem and get their points. A lot of people like to use this instead of watching the video and taking their own notes, which I guess might get you through the homework quicker, but if you're going to do that, I would at least suggest that as you're doing your problems, that you're writing them all down in a notebook, so you're having that practice of actually what the steps are. All right, or there's more help over here, so you can watch a video. That's not my video. That's somebody else explaining the problem. Okay, but it is a video. You can look at the textbook where it's explained, or you can click ask my instructor, in which it will send me an email with a link to this exact question, and you can type in, this is where I'm getting stuck or I'm having problems, and I can respond. Okay, you can also print if you want to print and do it on paper and then come back and plug in your answers. Okay. All right, let me just show you something here real quick if you're not familiar with MyMathLab. When you click in the box, notice there's some templates down here at the bottom if you need them. All right, so we're asked to use commas to separate answers as needed. So when I say you have unlimited attempts, I'm just going to type in two numbers. So 2 and 4. I'm sorry, 1 and 4, say. Okay, I'm guessing these are wrong, but I'm just going to show you what's going to happen if you put in a wrong answer. It'll tell you it's wrong. It'll give you a little hint, so apply the zero product principle, etc. Try to help you figure out, what to do. So it's trying to explain, how to do the problem. Okay. All right, so let's try it again. Let's say I said 4 or 5 and 4. All right, still wrong. Again, it tells me the same thing because I didn't do it right, got the wrong answer. Try again. Okay. Notice on the third wrong answer, let's just say I said 2 and 4, which is also incorrect. All right, so finally it says, on the third time you enter a wrong answer, the correct answer is 10 and -2. My last answer that I put in was 2 and 4. So if I go to next question, it's going to keep that as a wrong answer and I don't get credit. I can click, however, similar question. Notice it looks pretty much the same, right? But it's a different problem. And I'm still on question 1. So I could try this problem. And I can do that as many times as I want. All right, so, you know, you can, that's what I mean when I say you have unlimited attempts. That similar question after 3 wrong tries. All right, and then they give you a problem and you can try, you know, again and again and again and see what happens. So let's say on this problem, let's say I type in -8, 2. Check answer. Incorrect. Okay. I'm still going to get my 3 tries here. So how about 8 and -2? All right, so finally I got the answer right. Well done. Next question. Okay, so then it automatically moves you over. All right, I'm going to hit save. Notice I moved to question 2, but now when I come back, they've checked me off with a green check mark that I've gotten question 1 correct, even though I didn't get the first one that they gave me. Okay, so don't just think if you try it 3 times and it's wrong that you're out of luck. Okay, this is why it's a learning tool. Okay, it's for you to practice until you can get it right. All right, so say I didn't get through all 14 in one sitting, but I got to go do something else, so I don't have time to finish, so I'm going to click OK. And I come over here to my assignment tab again, and notice that it says that I have gotten a 7.14%, but I can still go back and click, and it's going to let me move on. I don't have to start over. Okay? All right, so that's a little bit about MyMathLab in case you are unfamiliar with that. So over here, the syllabus is the document that we are looking at now. The course content we talked about with the folders, with the videos, and the lecture notes. The MyMathLab link, just if you click it, it just takes you to that website. Testing center information. If you click on that link, this will give you their hours and location, the guidelines of what the rules are, and how to request an appointment. So even if you have to come, you're going to be coming to campus, you can request your appointment online. Make sure you do that well in advance. Don't try to request an appointment for an appointment that you want 3 hours from now. All right, if you're at the last minute trying to get an appointment, you need to call them. So hours and locations, I think that link, if you click there, it's just the web page from SWIC, and it'll give you their contact information. All right, so that's there. All right, and then Success Center information is down here. So on campus we have Success Center, which is a place where you can go for free tutoring and for help. So there just a bunch of information on this website right here, hours and location, where they're located when they're open, and then this is a handout telling you just more things about how to utilize their services. All right, Scotty over here is the online Success Center tutoring. If you want to do online tutoring, they offer that. So if you click on Scotty, click on that, and then you can go through and utilize that service. Walk in to the Success Center, since if they're open during regular hours, you can get face-to-face, one-on-one help. Okay. All right, so let's go back here to my syllabus and talk about the assignment calendar real quick. All right, so you'll get registered in MyMathLab first, and then you can do your homework, and then here's the assignment calendar that I was talking about before. So it's broken down by week. Notice everything for the most part is due on a Friday until you get to the very end here. At the end of the first week, 2 sections of homework need to be completed. So if they're not completed and you work on them after the 27th, that's where that 15% grade deduction kicks in. The next week, 2 more assignments. The next week, 2 more. So there's not an overabundance of work to do each week, but you should have plenty of time to spend time on the video, take notes, go in to MyMathLab, do the problems, and get through all of that. All right, week 4 is our first test. So notice you'll have 1 leftover homework assignment that'll need to get done, and the review and the test. All of that is due by Friday, September 17th. All right, so if you have to take this test by Friday, okay, notice in a face-to-face class, we meet 4 days a week. So ideally, complete 2.6 on Monday. Maybe on Tuesday and Wednesday, work on the review. All right, maybe spend Thursday, maybe you needed to take your test Thursday because you got other things going on Friday. That's fine, right? Or schedule your test for Friday and spend, 3 days reviewing. Or maybe it takes you 2 days to do the homework and then 3 days on review, whatever. Okay, but don't wait until, Friday at 2 p.m. to start section 2.6 and the review if your test is scheduled for 2:30. I mean, that just doesn't work. Okay, so it's your responsibility to manage your time. All right, good time management is key to being successful. You are expected to work or encouraged to work ahead. You don't have to do all the assignments and take the tests all on Friday. Okay, if you want to take your test Wednesday, go right ahead and do that. Or if you want to take it the week before, that's fine too. You just can't do it after this due date. Okay, all right, you should be working throughout the week. All right. All right, and then the ones that are not due Friday, the final exam review, I gave you over the weekend to finish it up without penalty, and because the final exam is then due by Thursday of the following week. But other than those last 2 assignments on that final exam review and the final exam, everything is due at the end of whatever week we are on. Okay? All right, if you have any questions about anything at all, please feel free to contact me at any time for help. You can email me. I'll be sending out a weekly email to remind you of what you should be working on each week and monitoring MyMathLab on a regular basis. And other than that, I am excited to get started this semester and looking forward to a great year. All right.